Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? This is the Magic Gamer, back again with another video. Today, we will be going to the planet Minmus. Because I've heard many things about Minmus. I heard it's very good, very nice. So, I will be building a craft. And then I will attempt to fly. Hopefully, I don't crash out or anything. Ha ha ha. Attempt to fight a Minmus. Let's go! So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, I'm finally building the craft that will take us to the planet. So, as I always do, put a science model on the front and ensure that I can get that area back to Kerbal. Then, and I will change this in my next design, I build a physical science area which will contain everything I need to perform all experiments on the flight. Next, I start adding boosters, as I think, they're good, I need them, and they'll work. I have a small booster, then I go for some landing legs, then I realise, hey, I don't need landing legs, I'll just put a bigger stage on. So here's me putting a little stage on and realising, hey guys, big stage, we need big power, Moving it up, putting a big fuel tank on with those very efficient little engines. And then putting another big tank on, and putting the big boy rockets on the bottom. This was my design. Put some weird fins on, don't know why I put those fins on. And then some landing gear once we actually get to the planet so we can land and move around. This was a pretty cool build, guys, and I enjoyed it a lot. Aha! Totally did stuff up in orbit and then rage quit and then lost the actual footage. Hehehe. I mean, I should be able to do a gravity encounter, but I just don't understand why it's not working. I mean, it also doesn't help that my thing's... let me click it! Thank you. Let me click the minmus. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yeah, I should have really, I just realized this now. I should have actually put the science modules, down here and then had the rocket further up. Because then, getting back, I could have just gotten rid of all those science modules and just flown back. But, the Magic Gamer does not think he does. The lion does not concern himself with the laws of gravity. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me save the game again. Just in case, you never know, never know. The lion does not concern himself with gravity-assisted turns. So, add maneuver. Why are my controls locked, dude? Oh my gosh, what is this? What do you mean my controls are locked? What do you mean? Has my dude died? Oh yeah. This is so... I'm using my Sigma knowledge right now of Kerbal Space Program. Crew report. 12. Very nice. Conduct material studies. 62? What? Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's do a temperature log. 20. Okay. Respectable, respectable. 20 and 30. Very respectable. Perfect! Yes! I'm a genius! Oh, wait. Maybe not. Hold on. Let's see what happens now. Oh. I'm a genius! Woo! Uh-oh. Other way, other way. Oh, no. Oh my god. It's so hot. It's so hot. Ah! Please. Save me, shield. Save me from myself. I don't even know what's exploding. Everything just exploded. That was very close. I'm landing in the water. How far am I? Have I landed? There we go. Damn, that was loud. So yeah, we definitely need to set up 110%. We need to set up a radio communication relay. Crazy. Because, no offense, guys, I'm not doing that again. I can just imagine when I send like my full-sized plane thing up there. It'd be absolutely terrible. I reckon we set up like a radio communication set thing around the mun. I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe that would be the best. Set up with like rovers or something. Actually, that's a good idea. Anyway, let's look at our research. 200 research! Wow! How to get the minmus, how to get the minmus. So, I need to firstly fix my orbits to the ascending node and the descending node. Oh. Bada bing, bada boom, I've already done that. What? That's crazy. Not really, but anyway.
So ladies and gentlemen, this will be one take. This was me just, editing my rocket, making sure it goes in alright, making sure I have an extra thrust, just to make sure it gets to the planet. I'm saying sure a lot in this, which is pretty funny, but anyway. Minnie Mouse 2, I also saw that, the science modules were lower than everything else, so I can actually get back up, but yeah. It's a little 2x speed cinematic of me going, so into upper atmosphere. Well, semi upper atmosphere with this OP rocket. Like, this thing did not need 4 sets of boosters. I had so much fuel, even to get back, but, here we are. So, 50 degrees, get on a little turn, full throttle, punch through that upper atmosphere. Got 800 meters a second, and then I was like, oh, I'll turn down to a third of the throttle, still going 1,000 meters a second before I exit the atmosphere, which is crazy. Then get rid of those rockets and boost out with the main rocket, which will get me all the way into my orbit. So, I see this, and the funny thing is, I try correct up and down, but I forget which way is which. Because if you go one way, then it fixes it the other way and whatever. So I'm wiggling my keyboard. I'm like, please, work. I ended up getting it pretty much right. So yeah, that was pretty much right, and then just add a maneuver mode, a maneuver node, just to get me out, So after that, we essentially just waited for the burn. We had to make sure that our maneuver node actually fits the periapsis and the apoapsis to the ascending node, descending node of the planet. The reason you do this is because it's on a, tilted orbit. So you want to make sure that at those 2 points, you can tilt the orbit and still fit on the orbit of the planet. So yeah, right now we're just waiting for the burn, I was saying, oh, guys, I don't know if it's gonna make it, I don't know, look at this little engine jiggle. Yeah, that was crazy. I forgot that engines gimbal and they move so quickly. Even in 2x speed, it looks so funny, but 1x speed was even funnier. So I made sure I extended the antenna as well before I lost communication relays with the KSP, because I honestly don't know with the KSP, with the Kerbal Space Center, but I honestly didn't know that, you can open, I'm pretty sure you can open an antenna at any point. I don't know, have to figure that out in later episodes, I'm sure something's gonna happen. But yeah, so now I'm just doing my burn, burning up, getting a nice stable orbit, and then from there I will be essentially going to the planet. So now you can see I'm just small burning my orbit to match exactly what I was planned. So apoapsis, periapsis, and I realized, it's too far because I took too long to do it. So I flipped the entire rocket over, which is pretty funny considering that I have no RCS thrusters or anything. So this took so long. I think next missions I'll definitely have to have RCS on, because this thing took so long to turn. It was actually depressing. I was just sitting there, I was literally on my phone, the audio, if you were to hear the audio now, it's just me scrolling Instagram and just oh yeah guys, look at this meme, I was just scrolling. But yep, now I actually fixed the nodes, which is great. So nearly there, moving down, come on, you're nearly there, boom. So yeah, now I fix the node slowly, I just throttle up the tiniest bit, right now, yeah, I got it. So yep, I got it perfect. So then I actually plan to change the angle of my inclination to match the planet. So what you do is you look for that descending node, and when you've got it to 0 degrees, or roughly to 0 degrees, it will shoot out to the opposite ends of the planet and make it sort of like a cross shape, which is pretty cool. That's what you want to have, so then when you actually extend the orbit, it fixes it. So yeah, there's me getting rid of my lower stage. Don't know why I did it. I still had plenty of fuel, you know. But, you know, me being the smart person I am, I just get rid of it. So set minmus as a target. And then I just time warp over to the orbit. So now that I've time warped over, we are looking at burning at approximately 9 seconds to get a angled, there we go, to get a angled orbit. So we're burning. I'm like freaking out. I'm going, oh guys, you know, am I gonna make it? Ooh. And I get it to 0.8 of a meter, which is pretty good. Can't complain with that. So, yeah, I realized I also cooked it. So funny thing happens now. I like completely miss it, and I'm like, oh, you know, that was absolutely terrible. So I try and move like backwards and forwards. It keeps like flicking because I completely forget how to control things. So funny. But then I realized, hey, if you just pull the other side, it like fixes it. So I do that. I proceed to time warp then to the actual thing. I'm checking also the signal's at 100% because, you know, the wiki never lies when it says how far you need to reach with your signals. So now we just time warp out. You know, we keep going. I think I hit the button. No, yeah, I hit the button and I'm like, whoa, dude, I time warped way too far, which is hilarious. I was like, in the audio, I was like freaking out. And I was like, wait, I can just like, you know, change when I have to do it and it doesn't matter. So I changed it, 0.1 second burn, which is pretty funny. Don't even know how I did that so efficiently. So yeah, pretty good. Nearly cooked the maneuver. And then it was just essentially me having to reach a planet. So there you go. I'm in orbit with, I'm going to get an orbit with the planet. Sorry, I'm just correcting my course. As you can see, you can see I was laughing. It's like a little bump that it makes in the orbit, and then the moon will shoot me out, which is the craziest thing. So I just had to change that. Now we're just, you know, waiting. You know, admiring the game for the beauty that it has. So now that we're at the time warp, you know, I time warp a bit by myself because I'm cool, I know how to time warp. And then we essentially just send it with the rocket. We just hope that what I had planned works with the orbit, because as you can see, it's like a really weird bounce. I haven't quick saved, which rare for me to do. I mean, now I've started quick saving a lot more after last episode of, you know, smashing into the moon a million times and not being able to get into orbit, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so now I'm just burning out, burning, you know, pretty long burn. I mean, not as long as the ones I'm going to have to do to get to the exoplanets, but, you know, we live, we ball, you know, we ball. So I'm making sure I get a perfect orbit right now within 3 meters, and I get it down to 0 meters. So that's perfect. Time warp out. Go to hit the orbit of the Minnie Mouse. I just call him Minnie Mouse because it's just funny, you know. Not minmus, Minnie Mouse. There's a small mouse living on it, and then that's where I rage quit for a sec, because I'm like, why is the orbit doing this? Why is it showing me this silly thing? So then I actually fix, you know, the orbit. I make another maneuver node to get into a low orbit. I mean, low orbit, I was at like 60,000 meters or whatever by the time I actually get into it, but low-ish orbit. So then I can actually land and have contact with the place. So yeah, me spinning my cursor around, as you can see, showing, you know, oh guys, I'm excited, it's working. So now that we're pretty much there, like, exciting stuff, you know. Oh, by the game freeze. Yeah, that was me looking around. The game like froze, and I was like, what is happening here? So yeah, just waiting for the maneuver node, waiting. I time warped up a bit, but I was really sketched out. I did not want it to, like, not work. I was like, please game, please work. And one thing I cut out of this video, which I wasn't going to show you guys, was when I tried to land, I kind of tried to land, like, on like a goofy mountain, which is really dumb considering, hey, you know, there's like a flat area right next to where I was landing. Like, see there where I'm landing. I literally try and what the? Yeah, that was the stuff up of the orbit again. But yeah, I like try and land there, and I'm like regretting it as I'm coming down. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I'm like commenting on it, which is so funny. So yeah, time warp. Never override the time warp when it's auto time warping, because I do not want that to cook. And then we just wait. We wait for our 1 second injection burn, or whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm going to the planet to burn. I don't know. We do it. Boom. we overcook it a bit.
Anyway, guys, we're landing.
And back to live audio.
So let's just get close. Let's get about 2,000 meters out. And we have to slow down. I mean, I'll just do an emergency burn, bro. I'll just pull a SpaceX. I'll just do an emergency burn. Because I'm cool. Just do an emergency burn. Do. 1,000 meters to an emergency burn? Nah. I'd be careful. I mean, this does look how flat. You know, if I make a base, I'm going to make it on the ice caps. Because damn, this is flat as. Yeah, 1,000 meters. Yeah. Whatever. 800 meters. I can save game here. I don't know why I couldn't save before. 700. 600. 500. 400. Slowly going down. 300. 200. 100. And we have... Where's my shadow? I love watching the shadow. No. Stop. I love watching the shadow in KSP as I land. Like, it's so cool. Come on. Soft. And now I can disable everything. We have landed on the other planet. We have landed on minmus. Now, before anything happens, let me quick save. Let me not destroy this. So, haha! That's why I quick saved. That is why I quick saved, because I knew my inability to not switch off the engine would do that. I've landed. Shut down engine. Whew. Very good landing. So let's focus. Let's open the doors and conduct the material study. $120. That's insane. Crew report 25. Okay. Oh, I can just do this. You turn on my RCS. Whoa, why is the gravity so low, man? Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one small step for mankind, giant leap for me. Whoa, the gravity's so low. Like if it's literally floating. Can I remove the visor? Yeah, let's raise the visor. Stare into the sun, my child. Burn your retinas with ultraviolet rays. Ha ha ha. Nah, jokes. Okay, let's plant a flag. Dun, 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 dun. Strut call. The Minnie Mouse landing. Yep, Hawaii! And today is the 20th of the 3rd of the 26th. Yep, Hawaii! Oh yeah. So, let's do it. Server sample 150. Oh my god. That's crazy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from here, I go up into my craft, with great struggle, of course, at first. But I get into my craft, you know, I make sure everything's packed away. I collect all the data because I do not want this thing, like, cooking itself. And then I realize, oh, I have a pilot, so I can't really hop from, you know, area to area, which is fine. I just accepted it, and I go, oh, well, I'll have to bring a service base, and I'll have to do it in later episodes. But yeah. Now just make sure I close everything, and then we are back off. We are back to taking off from this aforementioned terrible planet. So, taking off right now. I do a burn. This kind of cooks, because I realize my burn's like wonky, and I'm like, guys, What do I do? What do I do? I try to burn the other way, it just makes it more wonky. So I end up just like committing to a direction where I think is right, which ends up being this triangular direction, which somewhat flattens out my orbit. And then I try and line up like the, you know, Kerbin with the actual orbit line itself. So see here how I'm like, you know, moving it around and I'm moving my camera. I'm trying to like figure it out, which is pretty funny. So yeah, just moving and a grooving. Move out my maneuver and my warp so that I can actually, you know, go to that area and then just get a good orbit. So as you can see, making sure everything's saved, closing the antenna, and then realizing, oh, you only open the antenna and voila, you can open and close antennas when you're out of range of the Kerbal Space Center. Like crazy, guys. It's not like all of you didn't know that, and it was the first time I've ever played this game properly and I realized it. But anyway, it is what it is. So now I just add a maneuver. I figure out that I can't, you know, set Kerbin as a target, which is pretty funny. I like get really angry at that. I'm like clicking away. I'm like, please bro, please let me set as a target. Won't let me. So then I end up having to just eyeball my orbits once I actually realize I can't do that. So yeah, I go to the orbit area and I'm like, you know what? Nah, bro. I might be so cool. Make a new maneuver node, line it up, stretch it out, and then realize it's completely wrong. So I circularize, I make sure it's, you know, on the angle of Kerbin. Because if it's not on the angle, bro, then it's just not going to get there. So, you know, time warp to the actual area, which will commence in a second. 80 second now. Come on, man, you're embarrassing me. Why aren't you time warping? Oh, I think this was when I was trying to get my cat out of my room or something. It was like annoying me. Yeah, there you go, I'm back. So yeah, time warping, you know. And I realized, hey, I can just click this, it auto does it, I don't need to focus at all. So moving around, time warping, as one does, you know. In a lovely set of areas. Lovely set of areas, I don't know, bro. This commentary stuff's getting in my head, especially because I'm sick. It's the worst part about, like, you know, game commentary. When you're sick, you just start saying the weirdest stuff. And then it's like you listen back to it and you just look at yourself, you look at the recording and you're like, bro, what was I saying? What was I talking about? Like, I don't know, a cat eating like a lettuce or something, I don't know. Something random, you know, guys. But yeah, here I decided I'll just get my orbit to somewhat match minmuses, and then from there I can actually wear it down to where I actually land with Kerbin. So this is a one-way trip, boys, you know, we're not, there are no second chances, no quick saving, no nothing. Just flying around, hopes and dreams. I circle my craft, you know, that's a thing I love to do. I just like to, you know, wiggle my mouse around just to show, hey, this is my craft, guys, like, look at it. It's amazing. Like, this thing is like the worst design craft ever. I've been watching Matt Lowe recently, and he designed some sick crafts, like, just some things like these other Kerbal Space Program people make that are just so cool. Like, I don't even know how they do it. But anyway, so at this point, my dude's been in space for like nearly 2 months, which is, you know, his food would have already run out and his water, but the line does not concern himself with food and water. The line concerns himself with completing the mission. You need to complete the mission, you're the last man left, you know? So time warping, making sure, oh, and then I realize I'm like, ew, I can just burn early, no one cares. See, I just burn, full burn, realize I'm gonna get an exact burn, and then we time warp in to Kerbin, and we enjoy the bright red of the planet. Yeah, at this point, I kind of forgot to like detach everything, so I nearly destroyed the entire craft. Lucky I detached it, because my thing would have overheated so badly. But yeah, now I'm trying to like wiggle to get to the water. It's so funny. I like honestly try and wiggle my craft all the time. I'm just like, please move up and down. But I completely forget, if you wiggle the top of the craft upwards, that actually makes you go further. If you wiggle it downwards, you're actually like, with the wind and everything, you'll make yourself go downwards, which is really silly. But, you know, it is what it is. So now I'm just trying to land, and that's pretty much it. That was the mission done, guys. So yeah, you know, yeah, this is also me cringing about, you know, default pod. Like, no offense, fire mods, I'm gonna use them. But yeah, that's the landing, ladies and gentlemen. That was the mission. That was a really fun mission. It was hard because I did it 2 or 3 times beforehand, and like I could not get it to work for the life of me. But you know, once I actually understood the orbit, I understood where I had to go and what I had to do and how low the gravity was of the planet, it wasn't too challenging, surprisingly. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is back to live commentary, The Magic Gamer.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure that out next episode. Thank you guys for watching. This was the Magic Gamer OG. Back at it again with another excellent video. Bye bye.